Well, okay. This is episode 5 of the ArchonTvWhat
Yeah.
broadcast. And this week's show, we're going to cover the PS4 Pro. We're going to talk about the Zelda delay at launch for the Switch. Talk a little bit about the Watch Dogs 2 incident. Maybe throw in a little bit of the EA new policy for broadcasters who get their games early and sponsor them.
Yeah. Also, Conan O'Brien on his little YouTube series he played Final Fantasy 15. It was pretty funny.
Was it more of a gag type deal or?
Kinda, yeah. He was playing with Elijah Wood, and
Ah,
it was pretty funny though. It showed a decent amount of how like what the game looks like and stuff. Probably stuff you most people have seen already, but it was just funny.
huh. Yeah. Real fast before we get into those topics, though, there's one I want to bring up, and Square Enix is going to be the offender here. They are coming out with Kingdom Hearts 2.8 here and at the end of, I think, January, I believe, the 28th.
Yeah.
Personally, I would not get it because all it is a Dream Drop Distance game, which you got for the 3DS if you got that back then or whatever. The rest of it's just a movie and then kind of like a little story before the or after the events of Birth by Sleep. That's it. And it's $60. Like I don't understand how they could charge $60 for just basically one game, and that's it.
That's weird because I know the last two they've only charged I think 40.
Yeah, I would
Is it worth
definitely. I was gonna say I'd definitely stay away from it. It's not worth it. Wait until it drops in price if you want to know more about the story, because Kingdom Hearts 3 still has development time, so I'm sure it'll go on sale before too long. It might even go on sale during the Golden Week in Japan in April.
yeah.
But
And
anyway,
yeah, because then weren't they talking about some kind of like collection they were going to do as well?
um,
Something like that.
I heard that they were planning to, or they wanted fan feedback rather about 1.5 and 2.5, and since they got the fan feedback they wanted, it's coming out, I guess, on the PS4 from what I've been hearing. But anyway, let's jump into the Pro. Now that we got that out of the way, I just that was something I wanted to get out into the open. That's just something that you shouldn't do as a game developer. You shouldn't release a game that you basically release for a mobile console for like $30, $40 and turn around and expect 60 for it with just a CG movie and then the other after you release the other two main installments along with their mobile counterparts for 40.
Overpriced the crap out of it, man.
Pretty much.
Ridiculous.
But okay, let's go on to the Pro. I was watching Maximilian Dude stream. I think the night he got it up, he had put in the title he had a Sony rant because apparently he had his PS4 Pro day of. I think he has a Vizio TV, which is really a 50-inch Vizio 4K TV that has like one frame of delay, which is really good. And he plugged it in, had everything running fine, did the Sony update that it had, and immediately after that had nothing but problems. Had issues with like screen flickering.
Yeah, I heard they had a lot of problems with that, and I saw someone post some article about a workaround, but they weren't like 100% sure if it was gonna work or if it was totally worth actually doing. Because I don't think it was like 100%. Like I'm not saying like it's super unsafe or anything like to blow your TV up, but it wasn't 100% greatest thing to do.
Yeah, from what I'm hearing, it's after the update, people who were running on TVs other than Sony's own TV, shockingly, were having issues. People who had Sony TVs were perfectly fine and it was able to run smoothly.
Of course.
So I'm guessing it was some type of encoding on the Sony TVs that is different from the other type of TVs out there, I guess. I don't know. To where it just wouldn't make a handshake for the signal. And this was. Or Max was trying to get it down even to 1080p. He couldn't do. It would not let him do it even in 1080p. So what he did, I believe, is he ran it through the PSVR somehow. I don't know how the PSVR works, so I can't say how exactly. But he somehow rigged it up through the PSVR and then back into the TV and then from the PlayStation. And after that, he was able to play in 1080p. I don't think he could get the full 4K experience, but it sounds if he has trouble with it, and I mean he has some insane tech at his place from all the donations he gets from viewers and all that, because he puts it right back into his stream.
Does
But
this TV have the HDR as well?
yeah, it's one of the top of the line ones.
Wow.
Yeah, and he couldn't get it to run for the longest
Really?
time.
That's definitely a big disappointment when that's what they're basically trying to sell you is to get that 4K HDR experience through your game, and it's a complete crap show like right off the gate. That's not
Yeah,
the right way to.
it doesn't make sense from a development standpoint to rush it out like that, especially when it's not even like native 4K. It's just upres 4K, and to not be able to go back down to 1080p and play games properly there either. Because I've heard games that play in 1080p just don't look good. PS4 regular plays them better than what the PS4 Pro does. That's just insane to me.
I think that's where Microsoft made the better decision of holding back a whole another year and waiting.
They're
I just feel like the Scorpio is gonna be so much better just because they waited the year. They're gonna be able to fine tune a lot of things. Might learn from a lot of mistakes that Sony's apparently having right now. I just feel like Microsoft made a little bit better decision, and it's going to be a better product. I mean, it might be a little more expensive. The price that I had heard from you, and I think I've seen other things. It's going to be a little high.
It's gonna be
Hopefully,
600, which is double what the PS4 Pro is, I believe, or close to
no,
double.
two
400.
hundred more. Yeah, the Pro's 400, but I
Yeah, but that's just ridiculous. I don't know why Sony decided to rush. They're already leading the console war. They could have very well waited to get this out the gate. It just seems like a bad move on their part. Um, let's see. Where do we want to go next? Well, let's talk about, since we're talking about companies, let's go with EA's whole new change on their product placement. From what I've heard around the web here, I guess that EA doesn't want to end up like these companies out here that are secretly getting sponsored by streamers to say nice things about their products. So instead, they've now have an open door policy with the streamers to where you have to tell them that yes, I was paid by EA to sponsor this game and these things were paid for by EA, the things I'm saying and all that. Because I think that Warner Brothers got in trouble with the Shadows of Mordor game, if I'm not mistaken, with that because they were hiding the fact that they were paying streamers to play the game. And they were saying such nice things about it, and they were told not to say anything negative.
oh okay that yeah.
Yeah. I mean, what do you think about product placement like that? Would you buy a game just because a streamer said that it was good?
I don't see that's wrong. I mean, if they're paying them just to say nice things, that completely just takes everything out of actually talk or playing the game and actually giving an honest opinion about it because you're just being influenced by money at that point to just say a nice thing so people will hear it and of course probably go out and buy it or buy it down the road. I think it's stupid. They should just give their complete honest opinion. If it's a piece of crap, the company should. I mean, they should know it. They made the damn game. They're the one that put the game together. So
If they're
let
trying to pull a fast one.
yeah. So I just feel like, and then at least the consumer has a way better idea of whether okay maybe I'll wait on it or maybe wait for it to be fine tuned a little bit better with how patches are nowadays. That's a common thing.
Yeah.
I so
I
I
mean,
think it's better that they're doing this open door thing so the consumer can get better feedback about what they're possibly going to buy.
yeah. And I'm sure Activision's kind of wishing they'd done the same thing with Infinite Warfare because a lot of the famous Call of Duty YouTubers that supported the past couple games are now basically turning on them and
Yeah,
saying that the game is just not fun. It's not good. The netcode isn't fun. That's my whole holdup with the game is that the netcode isn't fun. Infinite Modern Warfare Remaster isn't fun either because it's got the same netcode as what Infinite Warfare has. It's just not the same netcode where you could shoot somebody and feel like you're actually hitting somebody rather than just pouring infinite bullets into them. But I don't know. Maybe if they fix that, then that game will. or those games would go back to being fun again. Because I mean, Call of Duty's not even nominated for Game of the Year this year.
Yeah, I don't think I've seen anything. I think it's been more. I think Overwatch has been up there.
Yep.
Uh,
It's Overwatch, Uncharted 4, then you've got Gears of War 4, I believe it is now, right?
yeah, yeah.
Yep, you got games like those going over top of it.
And Overwatch is completely brand new to the shooter scene.
Yeah.
That's the first entry. Blizzard. Call of Duty's not even up there with it. But
Well, actually, there was a story from last week we didn't cover, and that was Battleborn. I hear this week or whatnot, the whole rally around Battleborn thing didn't really go all that well.
oh really?
Yeah, they only pulled in like I think an extra like 30,000 people, I believe, maybe, or maybe it was 10,000. Though I did see for the Black Friday sale or the PS Plus sale for this week or whatever, they have
Oh
Battleborn.
yeah.
Battleborn's on sale for I think the deluxe edition was $27 and the regular version's 23 instead of 70
Yeah.
and 50 respectively.
Something like Titanfall 2 now, since their sales are so low, I think the game's already cut in half right now. You can go pick it up at Walmart for 30.
And see, that's not even like I said, that's not even Titanfall's fault. That's Titanfall got great reviews all
No,
around the
no,
board.
no. But like it,
It's the launch window that they put it in. They put it on top of their own game in Battlefield 1, EA's own game rather, and then tried to shove it in between Infinite Warfare and Modern Warfare Remastered. It just wasn't going to end well for them. Um, let's see. But yeah, it's sad to see Battleborn die because the game was fun. Like I said, they just had to work on the hit detection. The hit detection was the only thing that was the problem for me in Battleborn.
yeah, I think they did put together a well-rounded game. I just think it got released wrong time and got overlooked because of Overwatch, in which they were not even the same game, which is even the
I mean,
worst part about it.
it's the same argument with why PlayStation All Stars failed. It's
Yeah,
it's a Smash clone. It's exactly what Nintendo does. Sony just copied Nintendo when it wasn't even the same game, the same formula, or anything outside of it being like a third-person party brawler, you
yeah,
know,
that's what I was about to say. Yeah, that's
or
basically the
third-party
only
party brawler.
argument you can have of it being the same. There's a lot of differences. The combos were a little
The combo was way
more
different.
in depth.
Yeah,
The way you kill people was way different. It was
you build meter off of orbs to get
yeah,
levels, which you then use to kill your opponents. Yeah. Whereas Smash, you just build meter or build a percentage until you can launch your opponent off the edge and kill them.
yeah.
Not even the same concept. I mean, I would love to see a PlayStation All Stars too, you know, just maybe with a revamped battle system and some actual
Yeah, if they can
characters.
get some yeah, they can get some leverage on some characters. That'd be great. That was also, I think, another thing. They just couldn't get a good group of characters to get into the game. I just
Yeah.
that was also I mean, they add Zeus. I mean, they got stuck adding characters like that I just feel some people didn't really want in the game, but they were just I just feel like they didn't have a lot of options, so they had to stick with it.
Yeah, because from what I remember hearing back then, like literally 2 weeks before launch, they cut out Final Fantasy characters. They cut out like the Moogle. They had the Moogle as an item. I don't know what it did specifically, but it was an item. And then they were kind of trying to bargain for Cloud or Sephiroth, and or Square Enix told them no because this was around the time that I think either 13.3 was being released or 13.2 was being released. And Square was pushing for Lightning to get into the game, and they didn't want to use Lightning because Lightning wasn't well known enough. And then at that point, Square Enix just completely pulled out, from what I heard. They wanted no part of it because the only character they were willing to give them was Lightning. Which I mean, I guess in hindsight, you could have taken just to
Yeah,
have Square on board and maybe try to talk them into giving you something later on down the road for DLC. But I don't know. And then there was rumors of I can't remember the Legend of the Dragoon's main character. It's not Isaac. I can't remember what his name was. But he was supposed to be the next DLC, and they also had a map for the character too. Or no, it was supposed to be Wipeout World or something like that, or Wipeout related map mixed with like Heavenly Sword. or something close to it. I can't remember specifically. Actually, that might have been the one map they did come out with that was DLC. I don't remember. It was supposed to be something close to that. But it was pretty disappointing with what they were able to kind of scarf up for characters. I mean, it was cool that they had Spike from Ape Escape because Ape Escape was a huge game in Japan on the PS or on the PlayStation originally.
Yeah.
You had Koro, or Kuro, who was I think a mascot in Japan, the cat. I mean, Nariko I could have done without from Heavenly Sword. You know, she really wasn't that big. She was just a launch title for the PS3, so she's relatively new to the whole series.
I think that was just like the reason why.
Yeah, I was glad to see Sweet Tooth though. Sweet Tooth was nice to see. Parappa was pretty cool. You know, Fat Princess I didn't think belonged there. Hate that character.
Or a little freaking
Soldier spam, dog. It's all it takes. Soldier spam. Mm.
it's annoying.
Yeah.
Villains just all rushing come from all angles. Ah,
Yep. But nah, I'd love to see a PlayStation All Stars 2. It'd be pretty cool, or maybe even just a port over to the PS4.
yeah.
I'd definitely consider getting it. Like I said, it was a fun game. Even with all the bugs it had, it kind of made it even more fun.
Let's just keep Santa Monica out of it. You know.
Yeah, that's where Sony licenses go to die that aren't God of War.
Just let them stick with God of War. They make their money there. You guys have a one coming up. Just
Yeah. Yeah, they just need to stop giving Santa Monica licenses because they just kind of sit there and they die. Wait, Twisted Metals by Santa Monica now? Oh yeah,
no,
this.
didn't they got pushed over to them though,
Yeah,
or
the
what?
server did, and then they shut it down within like a month later because they didn't want to deal with it.
Oh man, I remember that too. I was so ready to play a Twisted Metal for the PS3, and
Yeah, they kind of completely screwed themselves on the concept there because instead of giving character depth, they decided to do vehicle depth instead, where every character could use any vehicle they wanted to, so it didn't even make sense. Like Axel was typically the dude in the wheel vehicle that rides around, but instead you could put anybody in the wheel vehicle. It's like, really?
kind of kills
Yeah, it
the
kind of
lore.
kills the lore. But yeah, I don't know, like I said, I feel bad for Battleborn and that it got the same treatment that All Stars did.
Yeah, it does suck. Like, 'cause, I mean, when we were playing it, it was fun. Even the story was, I thought was,
And see, that's something it had over Overwatch. Overwatch doesn't have a story.
yeah. They, they just got, I think it was something just got canceled for Overwatch. They had, it was like some cinematic or some comic type animation thing that they were supposed to do for it, and it just got canceled. But yeah, they don't have anything. Like, I mean, I don't mind the multiplayer. I mean, I think it's still a good game
Yeah,
for what it is.
besides Roadhog's Hook.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, there is some things in there that will piss you off, but other than that, I think it's a good game. You know, you pick your character, you're stuck with them. You have to master. You know, that's basically. It's not like other shooters where you get to change loadouts, change things. You know, you just have to master that character.
We talking Overwatch or Battleborn here?
Overwatch. I'm sorry.
Overwatch. Well, Overwatch you can
Even
switch. I mean, Battleborn, yeah, it's more along Battleborn's lines
yeah,
because you can't
Battleborn was
switch.
yeah.
Once you pick a character, you're stuck there.
Wait, with Battleborn?
Yeah, you can't swap out characters in Battleborn until you get to the
Oh,
next
oh
match.
yeah.
Remember?
I mean, you can pick a you can have a loadout and
Well, you can do a
uh,
load, but the loadout isn't as like it. Okay, it does make the difference to gameplay. I won't say it doesn't, but it's more along the lines. Overwatch, you have all these characters you get to swap from instead of a loadout
yeah.
to fit the mood better, to fit the situation.
Well, that yeah. At least in quick play, you can still do that. Unless I thought I read something that they changed that.
No, it's a 3v3 mode you're thinking of that they added
Oh,
where you
oh
can't. It's
yeah. They added the 3v3, and then they add one on one
yes,
too.
they did. And one on one's kind of weird. I played a little bit of both.
Oh,
One
you
on
did?
yeah,
Try that.
one on one you just
I've
get
never
assigned a
tried that.
random character. I am
Did
dropping
they like?
frames like a
I'm
motherfucker.
assuming did they make the map? Did they like enclose the map, or did they make?
Yeah, the map's enclosed.
Okay,
It's kind of a tight map.
yeah.
No health packs or anything like that.
So it's like a just deaths? I mean, how many?
You die. It's I think it's five, best of three for the first for the 3v3, and then best of five for the other or first
Oh,
to five. But yeah, it's okay. I got to play a little bit of Sombra too. She's pretty fun.
yeah. How does their alt? Did you get to use their alt? I'm assuming.
Yeah, her ult deals a little bit of damage and it nullifies abilities.
Is it like pretty extreme, or is it manageable?
It can be annoying when you get hacked, like in general, because she also has a hack on her L2, but her ultimate's a global hack.
Yeah.
Yeah, I gotta turn that off. Um, but yeah, it's just a global hack that shuts people down, I think, for like 5 to 6 seconds.
Oh, okay.
So it's kind of annoying.
Yeah.
But all in all, I think she's a pretty strong character.
What is she? She's
She's offense.
offensive.
Yeah, she's pretty fun. Her grenade allows her to do some easy backline diving and then get to safety type plays. But okay, let's move on to Watch Dogs 2, shall we? We've rambled on enough. So you're the one that kind of told me about it. I did hear bits and pieces about it, so I'll give you this one.
For what? The multiplayer or
Well, if you
the
want to cover both,
explicit
that's
image?
that is your choice. I'll leave it up to
Well,
your
I
discretion.
I read the multiplayer was really broken at launch, so they pretty much I think just shut it down all completely for right now until they could fix it.
What were the
Uh,
issues?
I can't even remember exactly all the issues. I think it was just overall just broken as all hell.
Lots of
It
lag, latency, or
yeah, I think so. It was just overall just garbage. I like I've like I've thought about before is like this game, this type of game, they shouldn't even put multiplayer in. I don't think it's really necessary. Just like they do with other games like Assassin's Creed and all these other stuff.
yeah.
I feel like they're just strictly single player, and I think it just uh, screwed them there because I mean their multiplayer just on launch was just broken. You know, that's whatever. But and then the other thing was with the explicit image. Uh, apparently, some PlayStation player ended up screenshotting it and posting it, or it was on his stream or something. I can't remember. And Sony caught it and they banned him, and then apparently they unbanned him later. I don't know how much later it was.
So all character models aren't built equally.
And I think they just patched it into where they removed that to happen now. Like you can't see it anymore.
I've
So
heard mixed things. I've heard they just did it for the female models. The males still
yeah,
have them,
yeah. So, but I mean,
which is
it was
kind of
pretty.
dumb.
It was pretty detailed. Let's just say that.
Huh?
It was. Yeah.
I don't know how you can launch a game without that being anywhere on the box.
And the thing is like, it's an M-rated game. So, I mean, games have it nowadays.
Yeah.
I mean, there's games that have nudity in it.
I guess it's just
So,
sexual acts that get them the adult only rating or extensive
yeah. So I
violence.
don't even know why PlayStation even banned him. I don't know if maybe it's just because he put it out there. I guess.
It has to do with Twitch policy. You're not. I'm sure he was probably streaming to Twitch through the PlayStation platform, and with what was happening at the start of the PlayStation, you need to know some of the things that were going on.
Oh, that was the good old days, man. Everyone would bounce from one streamer to another just because they heard one person in the comment section say one thing. You would literally see some person have 100, someone say, "Go check out this person." Boom, it would drop to zero, and then go right. Oh man, that was yeah. Sony had some problems with. Apparently, there's some pretty open people, or I don't know, whatever you want to call it, or
Oh,
whatever
I know why that's doing that.
just just doing some explicit things on PlayStation's stream when their PlayStation first came out.
Yeah.
they cracked down on it. But the thing was is when they cracked down on it, it was so easy to make it account again that it was just like, okay, you can just go and
Didn't
uh,
didn't it get to the point where they were banning systems?
I can't remember.
I'm pretty sure it got to
I
that
wouldn't
point.
doubt it. I wouldn't doubt it at all. I mean, I watched people do freaking cocaine on their stream. I was like, what the hell? I was like, okay, you know, but yeah. So
Hmm.
yeah, I don't know. Yeah, it looks like Watch Dogs had a for their at least their multiplayer part had a rough start, and they had that little problem with the character models showing, I guess, a little more than and they put them there too. So
Yeah.
I mean, obviously it was Sony that, so
But yeah, you get what you pay for, you know?
yeah.
Not all character models are created equal. That's Ubisoft's new model.
Yeah.
Um, what else is there? Let's see. Trying to think. Oh, the Zelda pushback for the Switch.
Oh yeah, yeah. When I read about that, I feel like a lot of people are gonna be, or I'm pretty sure a lot of people are upset about that, which kind of sucks because I feel like a lot of people are riding on that game to come out right at launch because I mean at E3 I feel like it was one of the most talked about games. It was the most highly anticipated games out to come out. And I seen the trailer for it that they showed, and it looked like a really cool game, open world, which was I feel is
Yeah.
a little
Yeah.
more open than normal, at least.
My whole issue with it is you base your entire E3 show around it last year. And this is just Nintendo right here. This is the attitude Nintendo's had, and this is the issues Nintendo's going to keep having until they can figure out how to get out of their own way. You base your entire press conference around this game, and then you hype it up as a launch title that's going to launch with the Switch and be the leading game. That's you've decided this is your leading game. Mario isn't your leading game this year, it's Zelda. And you end up making this giant world and then realizing that you're going to fall behind, and the reason they're falling behind on the date is due to they can't get the text boxes all in time for the game's launch title because the world is too big. That's why it's being pushed back till summer. And that to me right there says that they were not thinking about the Switch in general. Either that or they had some setbacks they weren't expecting and they didn't want to say anything about it. They knew they weren't going to meet the title or the launch date for the Switch.
They were so confident.
That's Nintendo's problem. If you're going to base your entire E3 conference on one game, you have to make sure it gets out.
Right? They
Huh?
were really riding on that game. I mean, it was a good. It looked like a good game, but man, they really did. They pushed that game like that was gonna be something, and it probably will be, but
Yeah.
you can't basically engrave it in people's minds that this game's coming out launch and then basically destroy their whole world when uh, it's not going to now. And now they're banking on a Mario game that
That they're
is going to be.
swapping from. I believe the Mario game was supposed to be 2 months down the road, so they're swapping it for a Mario game that's going to get released approximately 2 months earlier. That's I guess they must have switched all their resources to because they knew Zelda just wasn't going to be done in time. And I've heard there's also a new Mario RPG in the works too. I don't know if it's a Paper Mario. I would assume it's probably Paper Mario. There's no way that it's going to be a Mario RPG Legend of the Seven Stars sequel because Square owns the rights to that. Though stranger things have happened in the gaming world these days. But yeah, I just can't believe Nintendo would do that to themselves. You
Yeah,
start getting interest, you haven't announced any other games for your console. People are just speculating what's getting launched when. The only game you've officially fully announced and put support behind is now coming out in the summer rather than for a launch title.
it's basically going to come down to uh, was it January 17th? I think is the day they're supposed to do the announcement for the price and stuff. They have to kill it. Like they need to announce some more games for launch, or
Yeah,
at least that area around launch, like in at least a month or something. they basically just have to really kill it because they're gonna just they're gonna shoot themselves in the foot if that's just not gonna launch well if they just don't have games to support it. And then they need to explain everything. I feel like they're still being so vague about how everything really works and how they just gotta really and it's supposed to launch in March, and they haven't. It's still kind of a mystery to a lot of people. Or I just feel like I don't know the full thing.
Yeah.
I feel like I'm missing bits and pieces, details about what if I, because I'm interested in it. My birthday's around that time, so hey, I might get it for my birthday. I, but I want to know the full thing. Obviously price is a thing, but I
Yeah.
want to know. And is it going to run exactly the same as it's at home and as it's like in my hand, a portable. I'm taking a
Yeah.
Switch out.
I hear you. My other thing that I'm curious about is like how does the play as you go screen work? Like, you know,
Yeah.
because I mean, could you buy like? Because I don't know if it's based on the controller or not. Like, if the screen's on the controller, like it looked like it was, could you then have a friend take the other piece of the controller and player two port, take it home, and then play with it from a distance? Something like
Hmm.
that.
That would be
You could play on the main
interesting.
screen, and then he would have the other. Or if you had to, you could both play on two separate screens or something.
Yeah.
Does it have a range limiter for that to work, or does it just run through the internet back to the machine? Like, nothing's been expressly said in at all. It's just one advert that people can just speculate on.
Yeah. And wasn't it the like when did they last talk about this? What, in October?
I want to
It
say it
was like
was the
some.
October commercial.
Yeah. Wasn't it just like some small little video?
Yeah.
Nothing. Like, come on. You can't do this to your consumers. Like, you guys you guys killed yourself with the Wii U. It was a piece of crap. You guys probably basically the Wii U was trying to save themselves from the Wii dying off after all the hype went away.
Well, they were trying to play catch up with the current or the
Yeah,
last gen. Is what they were
because
doing
the
with
Wii
it.
was just it was garbage. I mean, it was fun like we've talked about it in the past. It was fun for a minute. Once
Hmm.
the motion control hype went away, it was crap. The machine was so weak. It didn't really have a lot of launch third party support.
Yeah. Didn't bring a
So
lot to the table.
not at all.
The Wii U didn't bring much either. The Switch is supposedly, like I said, getting that third party support, so that'll be a big deal if they actually get it. But I've heard Skyrim
Yeah,
is pulled out.
yeah. That's another thing. I want to know. I mean, I seen an article that showed like a bunch of names, but I really want to know from them, or I want to hear games because
Yeah.
I think I heard was it EA said that I think they're working on two games for the Switch, but they didn't say anything specifically. I think it was EA. I think it was EA. It said they're working on like two games, but they
Yeah.
didn't say anything like what they are or stuff like that.
I have heard that Smash 4 is getting re released on the Switch.
Yeah, I
Updated graphics and all that.
yeah, I wouldn't doubt that at all. I heard that Pokemon Sun and Moon are supposed to go to the Switch, but
That is called Pokemon
or is it?
Stars.
Yeah, there you go. Okay, that's because I seen that too. I didn't know if that was
Yep.
like just their new title for it or whatever.
I'm speculating it'll probably play like Platinum did for the Diamond and Pearl series, where you have a new game that's completely different, and who knows, it could be a lot different considering the console's probably got bigger space than what the 3DS has.
Yeah.
I mean, a lot of people were saying that the 3DS models look insanely good.
Oh
If
yeah,
you,
they did a phenomenal job with Pokemon Sun and Moon.
but
Yeah.
you have to play on the newer 3DSs. You can't do it on the old ones. The old ones that had performance issues.
Really?
Yep.
See, I have a 3DS. I don't know how new it is.
If you don't have the C stick, you don't have the newer one.
Come on, I should check that right now.
I don't think you do. I think you have the normal one like I do. I know mine's the original because I got it.
Nope, I got the C stick.
Do you really?
Yeah,
Wow.
yeah, so mine's good. I mean, I'm not gonna get it anyways because uh, I've I've done some pretty. I did enough research to know that Pokemon Sun and Moon wasn't gameplay wise wasn't that great. So
Well, it's probably the same as all other Pokemon, to be honest.
no, actually, it's so straightforward, is what I've read, and
Bland.
it's so dumbed down.
Yeah,
It's just they push too much towards kids, which I understand, and I feel like it
that's
works like a kids game and stuff. But like now it like explains like what like helps with like weaknesses with against certain Pokemon and uh there's like just a bunch of stuff that they just really kind of I think ruined and pulled away from like what Pokemon was. You strategy and actually going out and like venturing around and actually discovering things and stuff like that.
yeah,
But I'm not gonna get into it a lot, but that was the reason why I wasn't gonna get Pokemon Sun and Moon. So
yeah. I don't know. I had no interest in Pokemon. It's just if I'm gonna burn my time on a game like that, then I might as well play something else. It's gonna have a lot more hours in it. That's why I've been playing World of Final Fantasy, which I actually beat the other night or whatever, and then went to play it the next day and couldn't play it.
yeah,
So instead, my stream was treated to me literally raging, playing Blitzball in Final Fantasy X, because that it's not even funny, dude. You can go back, like seriously, go back and look at that game. It is not even funny. Like my Hearthstone RNG, you think is bad? My RNG on my first 5 games and that was just horrible. Cause it basically puts you with a team that has like zero ability to do anything ever, and essentially you're supposed to take the main character Tidus and score the first goal as fast as you can, and then get ahead of them, and then try to get the ball back, and then I do the cheap strat where I sit behind the goalie, and it causes the AI to not be able to locate where I am.
yeah.
So they just do circles in the pool until halftime, and then I get the ball back again, and I do the same thing to them because I'm not playing fair. Skip that. No, it's not even funny, dude. Like your characters, because what it is you like have these arrows, and there's kind of like a bubble, and if the enemy arrows get inside your bubble, they're playing defense at that point. And each character has the ability to block something, or on defense has the ability to tackle and block. And there's a chance that your character won't block at all, right? I had the computer shoot the ball from half court against 3 defenders who all 3 missed the ball. And it is ridiculous RNG to miss the ball. I had it happen 3 times in a row. He shot it from half court and made the goal
Wow.
with a shot that was less than my goalie's defense. It was so frustrating.
That's funny.
Like I was trying so hard not to rage. I actually am curious if Final Fantasy 12 International will get talked about at the PlayStation Experience next month.
Yeah, that's true. That is next month.
You're really silent again.
Oh, sorry about that. Yeah, sorry. I forgot about that. That's next month.
Yeah, there'll be big news out of there. Um, let's see. I think we can go to the wrap up unless you got something else you want to cover.
I guess the only other thing was I told you earlier about Conan O'Brien plays the Final Fantasy 15 on his little YouTube series. If you haven't seen that yet, go check it out. It's pretty funny. He plays the game with Elijah Wood, and apparently uh, the the people that made the game were actually watching him play the game. So it's pretty funny. Just go check it out. It was a good laugh.
Okay, so we're gonna head to the wrap up section then.
Yeah, yeah. If you want to jump into anime.
Okay, dokie then. This week's anime recommendation. There's a lot of them that I was thinking about, but one I got back into, I'm actually reading the manga for, is Ultimate Otaku Teacher, is what it's called. And it's a neat show. I don't know, like it's got properties from another show called The World God Only Knows. So if you're familiar with that series, then you'll definitely get a kick out of this this series. It's kind of like also like I've heard rumors comparisons to Great Teacher Onizuka. I never actually seen it, but I hear it's kind of similar to that. But it's about
I'm gonna go
this.
check it out.
I know I should. It's about the. Well, I haven't had a lot of time to watch anime. I still got shows on backlog I gotta catch up on. I've been trying to keep my stream schedule going and dealing with what we were dealing with.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, not very fun. But anyway, it's about a physics major in college who decides that he's done with physics after he comes up with a door from another anime show called I think it's from I think this TV series is Doraemon. Dokuro Doro Dor or some Dokuro I can't remember the name for it. I'm gonna mess it up. But anyway,
Oh,
it's basically an anywhere door, if you will, that lets you go wherever you want. And he has this disease, if you will, called ADW, where he can't do anything he doesn't want to do. In other words, it's another term for kind of like laziness. And he ends up, his little sister ends up forcing him to get a job because after he develops this door, or comes up with the blueprints for it, they realize they can't make it for like another like 200 years. And he ends up getting a job at this teaching school, which then draws the interest of the most like prestigious school in the country of Japan, who the student council, or not student council, but the chairman then wants him to leave that school and then go to her school to try to make the students more interesting, teach using interesting methods and whatnot, try to help them come out of their shells. It's a pretty good story, though. He does pretty unique methods. Like I said, it's got a lot of the world God only knows elements in it, where if you know the catchphrase, I can already see the ending, that's pretty much what it is most of the time, where everything kind of goes the main character's way. He's already basically pre planned everything out and all the responses that the other people would give to him. It's on Funimation, so Alex, that means that you can check it out, or Twisted Logic. I don't know if you prefer that.
oh,
I think it's fine. Whatever. If you want to use first names, it's all good.
oh no! I picked up some comics today, so I need to.
What'd you pick up?
I went over to a comic store today. Pick up, pick up a couple things, or picked up some more on my Cyborg Rebirth series. I had only had the first one, so I picked up two, three, and four, and then picked up the first two for this Deadpool one,
Huh.
and then I got some new ones as well.
Yeah, but it's also a Funimation show. So, like I said, check out the app. They actually have a really cool show on Funimation that I wasn't even aware of because it was I didn't decide or I decided to go to the library one day because I was bored. And they actually have I think it's called Inside the Voice Booth or something like that, or Inside the Voice Actor or something like that. I can't remember what specific name is for it, but it's really cool as it goes into how to become a voice actor and how they got there. Like Todd Haberkorn, voice of Alan. He's done multiple voice of Natsu from Fairy Tales, probably where you know him best. But anyway, he said that he originally started like he got into acting as a kid and then moved on to kind of like teaching it, and then went from teaching it once he put in his like his audition for Funimation, not even knowing what Funimation was. But once he got in here or there, he then ended up getting a role in I think it's I'm gonna mess this up. Suzuka, I believe is the anime's name. Don't quote me on that one, but it's also a fun. Like I said, it's also Funimation because that's where.
On that.
That's a dick move. That's a Watch Dogs 2 character model move.
You call me a vagina? What?
But anyway, but yeah, he goes into in depth on how he got there. He basically states that there's no one solid way of getting there to the top or getting to voice acting. You just got to find your break somehow and just get there and just never stop. Like trying to get there.
Sure.
Kind of opened my eyes about it because originally what I wanted to do coming out of college was the same thing because I enjoy entertaining. I took theater in college for the half a year that I was able to attend because I ended up having vehicle issues and still do to this day. Tragedy. It's a tragedy. Okay, we had some technical difficulties, so I'm going to have to re-record this and go back over the end of the show. Basically, where I was at was my whole college story and all that. That's fine. But we're doing the wrap up real fast. You can find us this week, or at least me this week, on Tuesdays and Thursdays from 4 until probably 8 or 10 Eastern, 4 p.m. Eastern until 8 to 10 Eastern. And then I might do something on Saturday. It's kind of my relax what if day, you know. Before going into the show, I usually try to do something if I can. As for Twisted Logic, you can find him this week, Wednesday and Friday, hopefully. He hasn't been able to stream as much because he's been having internet issues, which is why I'm doing this back end now because he had some type of issue and it killed our Skype call, which messed up my OBS. But anyway, we did the anime corner and all that, so that's all taken care of. You can find us at ArchonTvWhat or ArchonTsunami, which is my personal YouTube. The Twitch is, of course, Archon_Toonami. Twisted Logic with two eyes, you can find him there. The team Twitter is ArchonTvWho, and my personal Twitter is Archon_Toonami. Well, two underscores, like just like the Twitch name, the YouTube name, and all that. I plan on uploading a Final Fantasy speedrun when I get that all taken care of and figure, or Final Fantasy 7 speedrun, I'll be specific, when I get it figured out, because I have my 13 hours still saved somewhere. I gotta pull it up and put it on the YouTube. I'm debating if I'm gonna split it or not. I need to get some editing software taken care of so I can split my stuff a little easier than using the YouTube splitter, because I don't know what a 13-hour file is gonna take and how long, considering these usually take like roughly 4 or 5 hours to get up. But okay, with that, go check out Toonami. Catch you later.